Mansard PLC. Good evening, Progress.
Good evening. Nice to be here.
Good to have you in. See, we had already had an interesting conversation regarding his name, but you know what? That's stereotyping is a thing that we do not want to do when it comes to names. But that's another conversation for another day. But you know what? Let's actually get into the conversation. Don't forget that you as well can share your thoughts. If you have questions you want to ask Progress as well, come through on WhatsApp on 009440981, and he will, do his best to address the questions that you have. Okay, let's even get into this. So I want to know, in your experience, right, how receptive are people around you when it comes to the concept of saving and investing, especially in today's climate where we all want to make sure that we are fed before we start even thinking of saving?
Yeah, very correct. So, in the present climate, answering that question will probably take us back to our upbringing.
Okay.
You notice that from early childhood, we had that nurturing of trying to keep something apart. Back then, probably have like a piggy bank. Correct. And if you look at that level of upbringing, even as adults today, there's that tendency for the average Nigerian to want to keep something apart, irrespective of how difficult it might seem at the moment, based off on the current economic climate. We still have adults still trying to keep a little portion of what they get to earn on maybe on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. They try to keep a little aside and not try to eat it all up. And I think even at the moment, I'll still say averagely the average Nigerian has that saving culture. Maybe the question now becomes, to what proportion is that disposable income available? That's a different conversation. But in terms of the saving culture, the needs to always keep something apart, I think that's one habit that the average Nigerian learns even while growing up. And yes, even despite the current economic climate, we still have as
people
adults
still saving.
Correct.
That's important, and I like the fact that you said then we used to have those piggy banks.
Correct.
But now you go into the bank, or you have the apps that you can save your monies, and makes life a whole lot different from how it used to be. But it's good to know. All right, so I know that one of the things that sometimes discourage people when it comes to investing or saving, or when they hear, oh, put it here and put it there, is investment scams.
Yeah.
What are the typical telltale signs that people need to look out for so they don't end up putting their monies in the wrong place or making wrong choices?
Okay. The most obvious one is, if it's
Put
too
it
good,
now and grow it.
if it's too good to be true, then perhaps it's too good to be true.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is the concept of, there needs to be a match between the level of return and the level of risk.
Okay.
That's another telltale that you need to watch out for. When an overly elevated return is promised to you with minimal risk, then you should be very concerned. If somebody is coming to you, just put in 1,000, you get 5,000, and the person says you don't have to do anything, just so you need to be very concerned, because
how come I'm not putting in any effort and I'm getting so much money?
Correct. The way it works is, the higher the return, the higher the risk. So once that is not in view, or once the reverse is being promised, that's something to watch out for. Also, just maybe as an indicator, as much as possible, you should be mindful of not investing in opportunities you don't have any knowledge about. So in case the opportunities where you have zero knowledge in, it's best to stay clear of them, or if you must, then you need to consult a financial advisor. And I think just as a rule of the thumb, if you can be watchful of some of these things, you definitely might stay clear of these investment scams.
All right. Thank you so much for that insight. It's actually important to know that, hey, if you do not know, ask questions. And if it seems too good to be true, It definitely is too good to be true. All right. So now that we have that out of the way, so I'm looking at trying to balance my life. And what do I mean? So I want to be able to enjoy the good things, go out, have fun with my friends, hang out. And I'm looking at also trying to invest. How do I strike a balance so that I'm not also saying my needs and my wants are clashing, but I'm also saving something for the rainy day?
Yeah, I think the first approach you need to take is to be able to dimension your needs. You need to be clear about what those needs are. I think that's very critical in aligning what your investment objectives will be or what your saving goals will be.
Okay.
You need to be able to dimension those needs and say to yourself, what's my average cost of transportation in a month? Those are needs that you would definitely need to, rather obligations you definitely need to settle. What's my average transportation cost like? What's my feeding cost? Clothing, housing. You need to dimension those needs and say to yourself, this is my available revenue in terms of salary, wages, or income, and these are my needs. Then when you dimension those needs, you get a clearer picture of what your investment objective should be or what your saving goes to would be. Then out of dimensioning those needs, that's when you can say, okay, in the next XYZ years, I want to be able to achieve this in terms of my investment goals based off on what I'm currently earning and based off on my current needs. And having a view on what your income is in terms of revenue and what your needs are would also help you filter out your wants, the things that you can do without, the things that you could probably find a replacement for. So in terms of creating that match between what it is that you need and your investment goals and objectives, I think the very first step is in your capacity to be able to dimension those needs and say, hey, of X amount I earn, Y goes to this, Z goes to this, and this is what is left ordinarily, and out of what is left, I need to be able to make plans towards saving or investing some of those incomes that are left here. Correct.
With great. At least you know where your money's going to. You
Correct.
Actually can tell. Okay,
Monitor the outflows.
Exactly. So hey,
they are not sporadic.
Have a spreadsheet that you can keep account of. Okay, so these and write things down.
Yeah.
I believe that way you're able to keep account of
Correct.
where your monies have gone to, what
Correct.
you've done, without having to question, but I put so and so here now, it's not there again. So do the right thing and save, but make sure that you're also making sure you're also putting your invest, save, but make sure that you're meeting your needs.
Correct.
All right. So I want to know, you know how it is that when a person decides to save and invest their money, there's usually some apprehension. How would you advise them to put it? How would you advise them basically? And is there any standard or any measure that they should be, apportioning certain things for, say for savings or for investments? Say I'm earning let's even break it down. I'm earning, say, minimum wage of 100,000 naira, right?
Okay.
So,
But I think you earn more anyway.
I don't know. That's an assumption.
All right.
But how do you now, how do I now apportion the right amount for savings and then also for investments without breaking bank and having to, touch monies here and there?
Yeah, I think not that there is a specific standard, but there is a supposed acceptable threshold where you get to set aside at least 10 to 20% of what you earn as savings and investments. So like the example you gave, a worker earns 100K per month, as little as 10,000, as little as 15,000, as little as 20,000 of what they earn. If they consistently make that contribution on a monthly basis, 10,000 every month to probably earn 120,000 at the end of the year. That's just flat saving. Now imagine you have that invested in
all the things.
Exactly, that probably gives you a level of return. Like I mentioned earlier, there are no specific standards. What's key is for you to be able to dimension your needs appropriately and as much as possible what is also key for me is financial discipline. You need to be very, very financial. You need to be very, very financially disciplined to save and invest. It might sound as
rigid,
correct, but you need to be able to nurture the seeds today to be sure that you get a crop tomorrow. Yeah, so you don't just
eat everything,
eat the corn and eat the seed and eat the bread together. Exactly. So that's financial discipline is actually required if you have dimensioned your need and what you can be able to save is 10% of what you earn.
Okay.
That financial discipline to stay true to that 10% monthly is actually key in terms of achieving your financial and savings goal. So if you ask me, between 10 to 20% of what you earn could be set aside for savings and investment purposes.
All right, that's actually good to know, and it will help you achieve all that you set out. So if you do that, have apportioned what it is for your basic needs, then figure out what it is for your wants, then your risk appetite should be next.
Correct.
But make sure that you are putting down something for your investments and saving some, because rainy day can sometimes just come when you least expect. That's why they say save for the rainy day anyways.
Yeah,
but
correct.
Are there any instruments available that you would advise people to use towards actually achieving their savings goals?
Yeah, there are a plethora of investment vehicles in the investment universe. Individuals can invest in varied instruments, but I would like to recommend the AXA Mansard Money Market Fund. The AXA Mansard Money Market Fund is a mutual fund where individuals can sign up to the fund for as little as 2,000 naira. The fund is currently yielding over 20% in terms of return, and the fund provides a level of liquidity to the individual. What that means is that whenever there's an emergency or when the individual feels like he needs to take out the fund, they can take out that fund when they so desire, such that it's flexible for the investor. And imagine you consistently save 10,000 naira for a worker that earns 100k. You consistently save 10,000 naira every month, and you save that in the AXA Mansard Money Market Fund that's averagely around 20% at the moment. By the end of the year, you can be sure that you won't just have 120,000, you have 120,000 plus interest accrued, and that's a good incentive to keep away those funds and maybe not protect you totally from inflation, but gives you a level of cover when you invest with the AXA Mansard Money Market Fund.
Great to actually hear. And if you do make the right investments, you get to enjoy the benefits that are attached to it. That's the one thing I know I got from that. But I'd love to say a very big thank you for sharing all this insight. Anything you also like to share quick? No, you like to let the listener know how as well they can get access to this instrument?
Yeah, correct. So to sign up to the AXA Mansard Money Market Fund, you could simply go to our website at www.axamansard.com/investment, and you can reach out to the team at client services at axamansard.com, and we are just a click away. Seamless onboarding process, and it promises to
be rewarding.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Progress Felix. And he has actually shared so much insight, and he has given us a lot to look forward to, especially on a Monday where we're looking forward to making money. We never stop looking forward to making money, right?
Correct.
But to learn more about the AXA Mansard investment plan, you can reach out to them on their website at www.axamansard.com or call them on the toll-free line 0700 AXA Mansard. However, they have their social media platforms which you can also, reach out to them on. That is Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at AXA Mansard. However, on Instagram, it is at AXA Mansard _ until Wednesday, where we'll come again with another interesting insurance related topic. Stay safe and keep listening to Smooth 98.1.
AXA Mansard Safe Cruise. Brought to you by AXA Mansard Insurance PLC. AXA, know you can.